Unlock the hidden secrets of your soul, embrace integration for a deep spiritual awakening. I never expected a single dream to change everything. One night, as I surrendered to sleep, a kaleidoscope of colors danced behind my eyelids. They swirled and fused, a cosmic festival of light that enveloped me completely. In that surreal landscape, whispers floated through the air, secrets of the universe filtering down like golden leaves from ancient trees. Each sound resonated within me, sending shivers down my spine, igniting a spark deep in my core. I woke in a state of confusion and awe, the sharp edges of reality cut into my consciousness. My heart raced, pounding against my chest like a frantic drum. It felt as if the dream had stripped me of my armor, leaving me bare, vulnerable to unspoken truths. Why did the dream feel so real? Who were those voices? I looked around my dim room, the shadows stretching across the walls, as if hiding their own secrets. Sitting at my kitchen table, I poured myself a cup of coffee that tasted bitter and hollow. Outside, the world was waking up, but I felt detached. Birds chirped in a symphony that beckoned me to pay attention. There was a hint of something mystical there, a message penned in their melodies. I closed my eyes again, tuning into the rhythm of nature, seeking a sign, anything that could ground me in this chaotic journey. A sudden gust of wind rattled the window. I opened my eyes to see a bright flash of light dancing across the garden, as if the sun had burst free from the clouds, illuminating the ordinary with extraordinary glow. My breath hitched. I thought I saw shadows flitting just beyond the edge of my vision. Could it be? I stepped outside, the cool grass between my toes grounding me, but the air crackled with an energy I couldn't define. Where I had once seen clarity, now lay an endless maze of uncertainty and mystery. I wandered through the garden, fingers grazing the petals of flowers that seemed to pulsate with life, their colors sharper, more vibrant than I ever noticed. The wind whispered words that slithered into my thoughts. Awake, rise, embrace, they echoed, reverberating in my chest, sending jolts of awakening through my veins. I felt tears prick at my eyes, something deep within me stirred. Was this the awakening my spirit had yearned for? Or merely the byproduct of a restless night? My heart raced with possibilities. But with each question came more: how could I unlock the deeper layers of my soul? What awaited me in this mysterious journey? And then, as if in answer, a sudden silence enveloped me, so profound that it screamed louder than any chaos I'd ever known. My senses heightened. I stood at the crossroads of transformation, with the universe spinning before me, asking me to take a leap. But the path felt foggy, unfathomable. I took a deep breath, the air thick with potential, yet I couldn't shake the question: what hidden truths did my soul long to reveal? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The garden was a realm of soft whispers and vibrant hues, yet beneath its serene exterior lay an undercurrent of energy that beckoned me deeper into the space of my awakening. I felt as though I had transcended a threshold, standing at the edge of something monumental, almost palpable. Driven by an inexplicable call, I moved towards a patch of wildflowers, their delicate blooms swaying like dancers in a hidden performance just for me. Kneeling down, I watched how each blossom turned their heads toward the sun, reveling in the light as if savoring a profound truth. It struck me then, perhaps these flowers carried the wisdom of their journey, burrowing deep into the earth, reaching out towards the heavens, embodying the very duality I sought to reconcile within myself. What did it truly mean to embrace both light and darkness, to be fully alive and aware? As I pondered, a butterfly danced into my periphery, its wings a tapestry of iridescent colors. It fluttered around me, a whisper of movement that pulled my focus. Each beat of its wings resonated with a reminder: transformation. Could it be so simple? I considered the metamorphosis it underwent, from caterpillar to chrysalis, then to this exquisite creature. What if I too had the power to transform, to rise from the confines of my self-imposed limitations? The butterfly hovered for a moment, as if acknowledging my contemplations, before it flew towards the old oak tree that stood sentinel at the corner of my garden. Its gnarled branches stretched out toward the sky, it exuded an aura of wisdom I felt drawn to. I followed, the rough bark welcoming my touch, its veins pulsing with a history I could almost feel. Leaning against the tree, I closed my eyes, opening myself to the sensations around me. Suddenly, an electric pulse coursed through me, igniting thoughts and memories long buried. Images of childhood flashed, the laughter of distant friends, endless afternoons spent exploring uncharted places, and the unfiltered joy of existence. I felt the weight of those moments pressing gently against my heart, memories echoing lessons I had momentarily forgotten, but within that warmth also lay shadows, times of sorrow, feelings of inadequacy, and the fear that had silently etched itself into my soul. The intertwining of light and dark gripped me. How could I transcend this pain while still embracing the vividness of life? The question lingered in the air, vibrating like the resonance of the universe itself. Opening my eyes, I glanced up at the oak, feeling it whisper in a language older than time. Beneath its watchful gaze, I ventured into a conversation with my heart. What do you seek? The question reverberated within, echoing my thoughts but also illuminating my fears and desires. I wished to integrate these fragments of myself but knew the journey wouldn't be without challenge. Yet, the fervor for understanding pulled me onward that I turned my gaze back to the garden, where each color seemed to pulsate in rhythm with my racing heart. Emerging from the stillness, I finally noticed the stones lining the path, each etched with symbols, some familiar yet abstract, others foreign and mysterious. They felt sacred, inviting me to decipher their significance. What if these stones were pieces of my own puzzle, clues scattered along the way toward a deeper self? As I traced the designs with trembling fingers, a thought ignited within me. Everything I sought encompassed layers, chapters of a story only I could complete. What hidden truths lay buried beneath my subconscious fears? Were there facets of my spirit yearning for recognition? The air thickened with possibility under the oak's expansive branches. I inhaled deeply, tasting the nectar of potential that lingered in the air. As the sun began to dip, coloring the sky in soft pastels, a sense of urgency washed over me. Answers felt tantalizingly close, yet a new wave of uncertainty edged into my thoughts. Would I be bold enough to confront the mysteries within? Was I prepared to embrace the shadows that whispered alongside the light? As twilight settled, another question emerged, fluttering like a moth to a flame. Could true integration come only from navigating the unseen depths of my spirit? And so, with the stars beginning to peek through the velvety canvas above, I stood at the precipice once more, the journey unfolding and yet enigmatic, whispering one final thought: what hidden realms of my soul awaited discovery? The garden had transformed in the twilight glow, shadows elongating and mingling with the whispers of the night. Each flower, now more subdued, seemed as if they were savoring the last moments of sunlight, their petals gently closing in surrender to the darkness. It was then I realized, darkness too had its beauty and invitation to introspection and rest, that I felt the oak tree pulse with energy beneath my hands, a conduit connecting the earth and the cosmos, and an urge propelled me to sit at its base. As I settled, the cool ground beneath me grounded my thoughts, allowing them to drift like clouds across a vast sky. My eyes fell upon the stones, and a certain glimmer called me closer. Each symbol was imbued with a story, a fragment of a life lived, decisions made, and pathways chosen. As I traced my fingers over them, with each glyph, I heard echoes of laughter, whispered regrets, and dreams that once soared high before finding themselves tethered to earth. Did these stones not merely exist as guardians of the garden but also as teachers of my deepest truths? With newfound determination, I pressed my fingers down upon the stone inscribed with a spiral, a symbol that resonated within me. Just then, a breeze swept through the garden, rustling the leaves in a cacophony of sound, and I swore I could hear a voice interwoven in that melody. Evolve, it urged. Intrigued by this notion, I recalled how evolution demanded both resilience and surrender. I closed my eyes, envisioning the spiral expanding, replicating the growth I had yearned for in my own life, but as the visual of transformation danced in my mind, another facet revealed itself: the cycles of the moon shining light on the unseen. Each waxing and waning moon mirrored the ebbing aspects of myself, the forgiven and the neglected. What cycles defined my existence? Which tides washed over me without my awareness, and how could I stand steadfast amid the shifts? Emerging from my reverie, I glanced toward the horizon where the last vestiges of the sun faded into a cobalt canvas, stars igniting one by one. Each twinkle spoke of journeys yet to be undertaken, souls yet to be touched, and possibilities yet to be realized. This was the message. The universe mirrored the undulating dance of my spirit, urging me to step into harmony with the rhythm of it all. That I remained anchored at the oak's base, engulfed by the gravity of its presence. It felt as though this ancient sentinel held wisdom far beyond my comprehension, and a longing arose within me to understand its secrets. Leaning back against its sturdy trunk, I whispered, "What do you know of integration?" Expecting silence, I was taken aback when a low hum vibrated through the core of the tree, resonating within my very being. Visions flooded my awareness. I saw the colors of the seasons, each shift symbolizing the phases of my soul's evolution. The blossoms of spring bore the innocence of youth, the summer swelled with passion and ambition, the autumn called for reflection, and the winter awaited introspection. Had I allowed myself to experience each season deeply? Had I denied parts of my existence in pursuit of a singular narrative? With this realization, I felt the gentle nudging of a hidden force revealing itself, a profound understanding that true integration didn't require the negation of my past but rather the acknowledgement of its sacred role in shaping my journey. The shadows were not adversaries but allies, guiding me to the light. That as the stars glittered above, a more profound question emerged from the depths of my heart: how can I fully embrace each season of my spirit without fear? What must I shed to illuminate the path ahead, and how can I remain open to the lessons still waiting to be discovered? In the stillness, with the garden cradled in twilight, I was left with this stirring thought: what does it truly mean to navigate the winding paths of my soul, and what treasures lie within the interplay of light and shadow? Each mystery became a thread, weaving a tapestry of potential, inviting me to step deeper into the dance of existence. The night embraced the garden in a shroud of tranquility, each breath harmonizing with the subtle whispers of the universe. My mind danced through the earlier revelations, weaving the intricate threads of understanding that unfurled before me. Yet the air was thick with an unexplainable yearning, a sense that more lay beyond what I had uncovered at the foot of the oak. As I settled deeper into reflection, a shimmer of silver caught my eye. Intrigued, I turned to find a flickering light darting through the garden. At first, I thought it a trick of the night, a remnant of fading dreams, but soon it morphed into a form of firefly, luminous and vivid in the stillness. It glided gracefully, leaving a trail of illumination, as though it held the secrets of the forgotten. Mesmerized, I rose from my seated position at the tree, allowing my instincts to guide me. The firefly flickered and hovered, beckoning me with its ephemeral dance, leading me through fragrant clusters of blossoming night jasmine and silvery moonflowers swaying gently in the breeze. It led me to a small clearing I had not noticed before, tucked between dense thickets, where the air hummed with magic. At the edge of this enchanted space stood an ancient stone well, its surface weathered over centuries, adorned with moss and whispers of the past. The firefly circled around the well, casting a spell of intrigue. As I approached, I felt a pull, one that echoed the intuition dwelling deep within my core. What lay within this well could either ignite or dampen the embers of my awakening. Kneeling at the well's edge, I peered into the depths, shrouded in darkness yet promising mysteries unsolved. What knowledge resides here? I whispered into the void. The firefly glimmered a little brighter, as if urging me to look beyond my own reflection. I extended my hand toward the cool stone, feeling the pulse of energy coursing through it, grounding me even further in this moment of curiosity. With trepidation, I positioned myself closer and whispered my questions to the still waters. What burdens must I let go? How do the fractures of my past illuminate my present? My voice reverberated into silence, and I closed my eyes, allowing the weight of my inquiries to settle in, a gentle armor of anticipation wrapping around me. Then, a rippling surface danced before me, impressions flickered beneath the well's surface, images and emotions spiraling as if beckoning me to delve deeper. Visages of joy, fear, and love swirled like the elements in a tempest. There were moments when the laughter of childhood fizzled into muted tones of heartache, and alongside them, the luminescence of hope threaded through the darkness like a lifeline. With every flicker, it became clear, these were not mere memories, they were fragments yearning for acknowledgement, binding me to the lessons that shaped my essence. This well was a mirror to my soul, reflecting not only who I had been but also who I could become by embracing the totality of my experience. The firefly hovered alongside me, flickering as though sharing its wisdom. In this delicate moment, I felt the profound insight that integrating all parts of myself was not just an act of recovery, but of conscious creation. Each shadow, each light, is pivotal in weaving my existence, I realized. Yet, even as revelations emerged, a hesitation lingered. What was it that kept me from complete surrender? What fears clouded my willingness to embrace the fullness of my experiences? Was I ready to confront the echoes of my past and reclaim the threads I had allowed to unravel? As I rose from the well, clarity began to settle within the fog of my thoughts, and yet, the answers were laced with new questions that begged to be explored. Standing once more under the canopy of stars, I delved deeper into contemplation, the firefly glowing softly beside me as a gentle reminder of the interplay between the visible and the hidden. In this dance of light and shadow, what must I embrace to unleash the full potential of my soul? How do I navigate the space between remembrance and release without fear, allowing the essence of my journey to illuminate the path that lies ahead? These thoughts lingered in the night air as I took one last look at the well, a vessel of untapped wisdom, and ventured back toward the oak tree, knowing the journey was far from over, and every question posed was merely a doorway to new understanding. As the gentle breeze stirred the leaves, I pondered the next steps of my awakening, inviting the universe to reveal its secrets, and trusting the path that awaited. The firefly alighted gently on a nearby branch, its glow dimming until it was just a pulse against the backdrop of stars. I took a step back, still shaken by the revelations from the well, yet invigorated by the sense that I was on the brink of a deeper understanding. My heart raced, each beat echoed the questions swirling within, the promise of discovery almost palpable in the air. With the garden surrounding me, I sensed a shift in the atmosphere. The whisper of the wind carried distant sounds, soft yet distinct, a melody that seemed to beckon from beyond. Intrigued, I followed the gentle tune, letting it guide me through a winding path draped in shadows and moonlight. The night sky, painted in hues of indigo, seemed alive, a canvas of infinite possibilities stretching before me like an uncharted map that I tread lightly, acknowledging the delicate balance of the moment. Each step felt weighted, as if the earth itself was acknowledging my journey, each blade of grass, each flower petal a testament to resilience and growth. In the distance, the source of the melody drew closer, an alluring hymn that tugged at the fibers of my spirit. Could this be another layer of the wisdom the universe sought to unfold? As I wandered deeper, I soon stumbled upon a gathering of luminescent beings, ethereal figures clad in shimmering light that swayed in harmony with the music. They moved with grace, weaving intricate patterns in the air, their laughter a harmonious accompaniment to the melody that enveloped me. My mind raced as I emerged into their midst, struck by their beauty and the palpable energy that pulsed around them. With each flicker of their radiant forms, I felt an amalgamation of joy and trepidation, a visceral reminder of the interconnectedness that binds all souls. Here was a dance of collective spirit, each being an embodiment of emotions, stories, and truths that resided in every heart. Fascinated, I watched, drawn towards their revelry, an unspoken invitation hanging in the air. One figure, more pronounced than the rest, stepped forward, an embodiment of warmth and light. They extended a hand towards me, and as my fingers brushed against theirs, an electric current surged through my being. In that serene moment, I was transported into a realm of visions, scenes unfolding vividly like vibrant tapestries woven from strands of existence. Fortified by this communion, layers of my own soul began to uncoil, moments of pain fused with those of bliss, loss entwined with love, while the music resonated through the very essence of my being. The firefly calls of the garden danced with the luminescence of these beings, and I felt myself being lifted beyond the confines of my self-doubt and hesitations. "I see you," the luminous figure conveyed, their voice a soft echo reverberating in the depths of my mind. "You are all that you have been and all that you aspire to be. Each fragment is vital. Embrace the hidden secrets of your soul." I felt weightless, cocooned in a kaleidoscope of sensations, a truth pulsating within me that had always longed for recognition. There was no singular path but a tapestry of interwoven destinies, and each thread carried its significance, shimmering with potential. "How do I weave these threads together?" I inquired, hoping for clarity. The figure tilted their head, revealing a galaxy of stars swirling within their depths. "Integration requires courage, the courage to acknowledge all facets of your being. You must understand that the light and dark, the joy and sorrow, each plays a part in your symphony. What voices do you silence, and why?" Their words took root in my heart, echoing the earlier reflections by the well. What shadows had I cast aside, and what lessons lay unspoken? As I watched the other luminous beings sway, my spirit swelled with both yearning and trepidation. Was this dance inviting me to face aspects of myself long shunned, to invite the forgotten back into the fold of my identity? With the melody enveloping us, I felt compelled to join their dance, intertwining my essence with theirs against the backdrop of shimmering stars. I spun and swayed, an expression of my own light among the collective glow, fearlessly celebrating the wholeness that had taken years to construct. Yet as the dance unfolded, I became aware of a continuity of questions simmering beneath the surface. What hidden truths am I still averting my gaze from? Which voices have I silenced that yearn for expression? And as I embrace the fullness of my soul, how will that transform the landscape of my journey? The melody lingered in the stillness, both enchanting and haunting, leaving trails of contemplation as I withdrew from the gathering. The firefly followed, its luminescence steady and guiding. I paused, gazing back at the radiant sphere of energy. In this enchanted garden, every encounter was a pivotal lesson woven into the lore of my life. With a deep breath, I stepped back, leaving the luminous figures to their eternal dance, feeling a profound interconnectedness to the universe at large. As the night had held its breath around me, I pondered these invitations to delve deeper into my hidden paths. What unknown depths lie in the corners of my heart, waiting for the light of awareness? And when I choose to invite the full spectrum of my being into my existence, what will that reveal in the unfolding journey ahead? Wandering along the now familiar path, the air thrummed with an energy that seemed to pulse from within the earth itself. The memories of my ethereal encounter lingered, a gentle reminder of the wisdom I was yet to absorb. I felt as though I had opened a door to a greater understanding, yet the room beyond remained shrouded in mystery, the contours too intricate to grasp fully. As the echoes of laughter faded into the night and the luminescence dimmed behind me, I found myself at a crossroads adorned with glimmering fragments of light scattered on the ground. Each flicker seemed to whisper a potential story, threading the fabric of reality with glistening strands of possibility. Tentatively, I knelt, reaching out to touch the nearest glimmer. The moment my fingers made contact, sensations erupted, visions merging like rivers converging into an ocean. That I was transported into a memory, vivid scenes from my childhood danced before me. Laughter encircled me, a group of friends playing beneath the shade of an ancient oak tree. Yet, within the joy, shadows lurked, echoes of painful moments tucked away, a reminder of truths left unspoken. I sensed the bittersweet nostalgia weaving through my heart, a somber thread amidst the cheerful tapestry. As I returned to the present, the light elements flickered again, urging me onward. Perhaps this place was a repository of experiences and lessons, unveiling more layers of myself through the ancient wisdom of the garden. Resolute, I followed the sparkling path, each fragment illuminating pieces of my history. Soon, I arrived at a serene glade bathed in silver moonlight. In the center stood a solitary stone, etched with symbols that pulsed like the heartbeat of the earth. Approaching cautiously, I felt a magnetic pull, as if the stone demanded recognition. My fingers traced the grooves, feeling warmth seep into my being. The symbols inscribed upon it whispered stories too, carrying echoes of transformation, a language only the heart could decipher. As I closed my eyes, allowing myself to be enveloped by this ancient energy, vivid images cascaded through my mind, waves of anxiety, fears of failure, and the scars of dissatisfaction. Each reverberation carried a lesson that had shaped my choices, molding me into who I was today. It occurred to me, might these shadows offer gifts, too? Tears welled at the corners of my eyes as the stone resonated with the realization I carried. My struggles were stepping stones, not shackles. In that serene space, I began to engage with the whispers of my anguish. I recognized tears not as signs of weakness but as rivers of strength, carving pathways through my heart to reveal clarity. I recalled my moments of doubt, questioning the depths of my worth, and suddenly understood, each moment buried beneath the weight of silence yearned for expression. What did I learn from loss if not the power of love that transcends time? What did my fears teach me about vulnerability and resilience? I spun through memories of friends lost and paths untaken, the heart's echoes forging threads deeper than mere joy, and then, like a bolt of lightning breaking through the tumultuous clouds, another question surged into my consciousness: what if I shared these truths? As I stood, I felt the weight of anonymity lifting. The question was less about revealing my truths to the world, but rather confronting them within myself. With newfound courage, I pledged to honor the stories lurking in my soul, the ones quietly waiting for acknowledgement. The stone pulsed under my touch, a steady affirmation of my resolve. As night thickened, I felt the boundary between the material and spiritual blurring. The garden was a place woven with layers, a sanctuary illuminating shadows while casting light on unseen dimensions. These were the moments not yet known, waiting in the wings of my existence, ever eager for the stage. I left the stone behind, my heart lighter yet still burdened by unasked questions. Just ahead, the path began to curve like the spirals of creation itself. With each step, I felt the pull of deeper truths, unseen yet unfurling within me. What stories will I dare to tell as I embrace each aspect of my soul? What revelations await in the shadows that reside within the chambers of my heart? And as this journey unfolds, how will these newfound understandings reshape not only my life but the lives of those who intersect with my path? Continuing along the winding path, I felt the stirring of an ancient rhythm, an invitation to delve deeper into the tapestry of my existence. The air was rich with the fragrance of wildflowers, each bloom vibrating harmoniously with the essence of the garden I had come to cherish. They seemed to beckon me closer, urging me to pause and witness their delicate beauty. I knelt to observe, allowing the moment to wash over me. As I sank into a trance-like state, the flowers began to whisper soft, ephemeral sounds that threaded through the ether. With every gentle brush of the petals under my fingertips, familiar memories resurfaced, fleeting moments of joy spent in nature, lessons learned from resilience in adversity, and the bittersweet reminder of life's fragility. Time felt as though it had no dominion here, as if the past, present, and future all danced in perfect synchrony within the magic of the garden. As I closed my eyes, entranced by the symphony of sensations, a vision danced before me, a figure cloaked in shades of twilight, emerging from the foliage with a serene grace. I recognized her instantly. She was a guardian of this sacred space, an embodiment of the wisdom I had so earnestly sought. Her presence was a balm to my weary spirit, and I felt drawn towards her like a moth to a flame. "Seek not the answers you desire, but the questions that provoke your heart," she intoned, her voice echoing through the depths of my consciousness. "It is in inquiry that you will find the keys to unlock your soul." A shiver of revelation coursed through me as her words settled deep within. It struck me then the path I tread was not only one of discovery but one of continuous creation. The questions, like seeds planted in fertile soil, would germinate, flourish, and yield insights that had yet to reveal themselves. I felt both exhilarated and daunted by the prospect, aware that my growth hinged upon my willingness to embrace uncertainty. "Every encounter, every breath, every shadow you confront holds a piece of truth," she continued, her ethereal essence shimmering in the moonlight. "What stories fear holds, what joys linger, each moment is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence." I opened my heart to the implications of her message, unraveling threads of hesitation that tied me to the past. It was not merely about recounting the tales of my life but awakening to the transformative power of those narratives and their capacity to reshape my understanding. What would emerge if I dared to lay bare the contents of my heart? What dark corners still lay unilluminated that awaited my attention? As I contemplated these questions, I could feel an undercurrent of energy gathering around me, vibrating with anticipation. The gentle caress of the wind carried with it whispers of encouragement, affirming my courage to journey within. The garden responded to my awakening, a symphonic orchestra of life echoing my readiness to engage with unanswered questions that I ventured deeper, the path guiding me into the embrace of twilight shadows, where every rustle of leaves captured the dance of possibility. There, hidden in the thicket, lay a crystal-clear stream, its waters bubbling with a joy that mirrored my own. I leaned down, and as I splashed my face with the cool liquid, I caught sight of my reflection. It shimmered and morphed, revealing fragments of my past intertwined with visions of the future. I was not the solitary figure I had once perceived, I was woven into the world, connected to everyone and everything. A sense of unity flooded my being, invoking yet another layer of inquiry. What if my pain was not mine to bear alone? What if the burdens I carried were part of a greater tapestry shared among souls seeking connection? I pondered the idea of collective healing, how my journey impacted others, and how in turn, their journeys shaped mine. As the water settled, I felt the stirring of an innate wisdom emerging from within. The more I reflected, the clearer it became. Integration was key. The fragmented parts of myself, joy, sorrow, triumph, failure, could no longer remain in isolation. They desired to be woven together into a narrative that honors the complexities of my existence, what secrets lay waiting, hidden beneath layers of inhibition. What light might emerge when I allow myself to embrace the entirety of my experiences as sacred and meaningful? The questions hypnotized me, guiding me to navigate the uncharted waters of my being, with the guardian's presence echoing in my heart and the garden's energy pulsating around me. I knew my journey was just beginning. I stood on the threshold of something profound, poised not only to unlock the hidden secrets of my own soul but also to invite others into a dialogue of truth and vulnerability. As I continued down the path, I felt an invisible thread drawing me toward the next revelation. What mysteries awaited me in the depths of this sacred garden? What reflections and insights were yet to surface as I embraced the integration of my entire self into the unfolding narrative of my life? And in the act of uncovering this truth, how might I ignite a spark in others to embark on their own quest for enlightenment? As I journeyed further along the winding path, I could feel a palpable shift in the atmosphere, a quiet intensity that urged me to pay attention. The twilight shadows deepened, and the sounds of the garden transformed, becoming a slow, rhythmic heartbeat, like the pulse of the universe resonating through the fabric of my being. Every step felt significant, each stride a heartbeat synchronizing with a greater cosmic cadence. In the distance, I noticed a shimmer, a glint of light breaking through the trees, beckoning me closer. I quickened my pace, each footfall stirring the earth, as if my movement awakened the slumbering energies buried within. As I approached, the source of the light revealed itself, a magnificent tree, its trunk gnarled and ancient, with expansive branches that arched gracefully overhead, adorned with glowing orbs like stars captured in its embrace. The sight was breathtaking, a portal between realms, a testament to time's passage and the stories held within its roots. Entranced, I reached out, brushing my fingers against the textured bark, and was immediately enveloped in a surge of warmth. The tree seemed to breathe with me, sharing its wisdom through whispers understood only by the soul. A voice, gentle yet wise, emanated from its core, resonating within my heart. Every soul is a narrative, a chapter in the ongoing saga of life, it said, each word steeped in incense-like sincerity. What you seek lies not only in the searching but in the connection and embrace of your stories and those of others. The revelation unfurled within me, illuminating the path ahead. I began to realize that my journey was intertwined with others, a tapestry woven from countless threads, each life, each experience, a vibrant stroke on the canvas. I sensed the need to honor not only my voice but also to genuinely listen to the stories of those around me, finding strength in their reflection and lessons. Suddenly, a memory bubbled to the surface, an old friend whose laughter once filled my spirit with light, a friend who had since drifted away. A question pulsed through my thoughts. Had our paths diverged by chance, or had unspoken words built an invisible wall between us? The yearning to reach out throbbed within me, igniting a desire for reunion. Perhaps this was a call to heal long-festering wounds, a beckoning to weave our narratives back together. Inspired, I sat before the ancient tree, allowing its energy to infuse me with clarity. I closed my eyes and envisioned my friend, inviting the essence of our shared moments to envelop my soul. I felt a deep responsibility to explore the reconciliation of not just my story, but also the stories cradled in the hearts of those I had inadvertently left behind. What does it mean to heal together? I mused, seeking guidance from the tree, from the universe itself. How can our experiences become the bridges that connect us rather than divide us? It resonated with me that in the act of revealing our vulnerabilities, acknowledging pain and celebrating joy, we awaken a profound understanding within ourselves and others. I felt the warmth of a collective spirit, a beckoning urge to create spaces where truth reigns and authenticity flourishes. What if embracing our stories paved the way for empathy and understanding, fostering healing not just in ourselves, but in those around us? The energy around me shifted once more, flickering orbs of light swirling in a gentle dance, guiding my gaze upward. In that moment, I saw the interconnectedness of all living things, the expansive roots below me, grounding the ancient tree to the earth, and the branches reaching high, embracing the sky. I understood that while our individual paths may diverge, the roots of our shared humanity remain anchored in the same nourishing soil of love, loss, and hope. With this insight blossomed a profound question, one as delicate as the wildflowers I had encountered earlier: how could I create a ripple effect, allowing my story to inspire others to share theirs? What bridges could I build, and what echoes of kindness could emerge? From opening my heart wider, inviting healing and connection into the forgotten corners of existence, carried by the weight of these reflections, I felt ready to step beyond the threshold of my own narrative. The garden around me glowed with anticipation, urging me to weave together the light and shadow of my own experience, while finding courage to engage with the stories of others. And as I took a deep breath, ready to embrace the unknown, I questioned, in the tapestry of life, what silence lingers that begs for expression, and how might I encourage those at the edges of their own narratives to step forward into the light of revelation? The gentle whispers of twilight surrounded me as I stood before the ancient tree, each leaf appearing to shimmer with vitality. The glowing orbs seemed to pulse with the heartbeat of forgotten tales, resonating with a longing for connection, a siren song inviting me deeper into the garden of my spirit. It was clear this journey was far from over. It felt imbued with purpose, as if I were standing on the edge of something profound. Determined, I slowly circled the tree, allowing its energy to mingle with the thoughts swirling in my mind. Each lap around the trunk felt like a revisitation of my own life, unearthing remnants of the past that called to be acknowledged. My footsteps, quiet yet resolute, carried the weight of those experiences, and in that moment, I understood that every encounter, every relationship was a seed planted in the garden of my soul. As I paused, I noticed a subtle movement in the shadows cast by the tree's branches. A figure emerged, a woman clothed in flowing garments that seemed woven from the night sky, her presence both ethereal and grounding. Her eyes shone with the colors of the universe, and though I was taken aback, I felt an immediate sense of familiarity, as if she were a mirror reflecting the uncharted depths of my own spirit. "Who are you?" I found myself asking, drawn into her gaze. "I am a keeper of secrets," she replied, her voice like soft velvet, wrapping around me with warmth and solace. "I dwell in the spaces where forgotten stories linger, waiting to be unveiled. Many seek answers, yet the true treasure lies in the unveiling of the unexpressed." A chill of recognition echoed within me. I realized that my journey was not merely about seeking external truths, it was also about discovering and integrating the forgotten aspects of myself. What stories must I uncover? I ventured, feeling the urgency of unspoken words brush against my heart. "Look within the shadows," she encouraged, gesturing towards the nooks of the garden, where flickering fireflies danced like tiny stars. "What fragments have you tucked away? What moments are craving liberation?" With her words echoing in my heart, I returned my attention to the ground beneath my feet. I envisioned the scattered fragments of my past, the laughter, the heartaches, the dreams left dormant. I had often skirted around my own vulnerabilities, but this encounter called forth a reckoning. Were there pieces of myself denied in the name of protection that were now threatening to spill over, seeking release? "Courage is cultivated in the embrace of your shadows," the woman continued, her voice a soothing balm. "Only then can you weave the tapestry of your existence into a radiant whole." I closed my eyes, taking a moment to breathe and reflect on the mosaic of my life. The colors swirled within me, some vibrant, others muted. I felt the urge to honor each experience as a stroke of artistry on my canvas, understanding that the light cannot exist without the shadow. What is the first step? I finally asked, my voice barely above a whisper. How does one begin to unveil that which has been bound in silence? Begin with an offering, she replied, a serene smile breaking across her face. Share a piece of your story, a moment of truth, a feeling long kept at bay. Start with the small things, then watch as the larger narratives begin to unfold. Inspired, I drew a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the tree radiate through me. It was a galvanizing moment, a soft command to initiate the bridge I longed to build, not only for myself but for the souls waiting to reconnect with their own narratives. As the woman began to fade into the shadows, her final words lingered in the air like the sweet scent of jasmine at dusk. Remember, dear one, stories are the essence of connection. They can heal, but they must first be spoken. She vanished, leaving behind only a trail of light that flickered and danced around me. I stood alone, my heart swelling with gratitude and curiosity. The truths I had always held close needed to be set free, not just for my healing, but to illuminate the paths of others. With renewed intent, I turned back towards the sprawling expanse of the garden. Every flower and leaf felt alive with stories, waiting for the invitation to share. I was reminded that every individual carries a treasure trove of experiences, and in embracing my own, I could cultivate an environment where others felt safe to do the same. As I prepared to step forward, a thought struck me, a poignant question hovering at the edges of my consciousness. What stories lie within the hearts of those I've yet to encounter, and how can I create the sacred space needed for those tales to emerge? The unknown beckoned invitingly, and I felt called to venture once more into the depths of connection, ready to nurture the stories that were waiting to unfold. The night deepened, cloaking the garden in a tapestry of starlight, an eternal reminder that we are all interconnected within the cosmos. As I stood before the ancient tree, the air thrummed with possibility, and in the distance, I could hear the soft rustle of leaves whispering secrets I had yet to uncover. A profound awakening washed over me, as though the universe itself was urging me to explore the depths of my experience and share the truths I had long held in silence. With each breath, I felt a growing resolve to embrace not only the light but the shadows as well, for they held the essence of my journey, the richness of my existence. The fireflies twinkled around me, telling tales of resilience, transformation, and the beauty of vulnerability. I recalled the woman in flowing garments, her wisdom resonating like a note struck on a well-tuned string, illuminating the forgotten parts of my soul. My heart swelled as I moved deeper into the garden, where the wildflowers grew untamed, swaying gently as if beckoning me closer. I knelt among them, cupping a delicate blossom in my hands, and through the soft petals, I felt the echoes of my past whispering, urging me to unearth the stories that had long lain dormant. What if I shared my truth? I whispered to the night, allowing the winds to carry my thoughts into the ether. What if I honored the fragments of my soul, inviting others to do the same? The notion electrified me, igniting a fervor deep within that demanded expression. In that moment, I understood I was not alone in my yearning. There were countless souls wandering in search of connection, navigating the labyrinth of their own stories, and perhaps my voice could be the beacon that guided them home. I envisioned the threads of our experiences woven together, each fear, joy, and sorrow a strand in the grand tapestry that depicted the human condition. With newfound courage, I allowed myself to be vulnerable, letting my heart spill open like the petals of the blossoms around me. I recalled the laughter of friends lost, the ache of dreams unfulfilled, and the resilience I forged in moments of deep despair. Each recollection was an offering, a sacred piece of the puzzle that shaped my essence. As the thoughts flowed, I became acutely aware of the garden around me. It was alive, pulsing with an energy that mirrored my own. The flowers seemed to lean in closer, as if to hear my whispered truths. The branches of the oak tree, witness to countless stories, stood tall in affirmation, emboldened by the realization that vulnerability bridged the divide between souls. I stood once more at the base of the ancient tree. It became my anchor as I continued to weave my narrative into the night, sharing my battles with anxiety and the silent struggles I endured. Each confession released a ripple, sending vibrations through the garden that intertwined with the ancestral echoes of those who had walked before me. In this act of sharing, I felt a shift within the very fabric of reality. It was as if the garden responded to my sincerity, enriching the air with a sense of relief and open-heartedness. In that sacred space, I began to transcend the limitations I had placed upon myself. I was no longer defined by my fears but instead by the courage it took to step into the light and embrace my entire being. As I poured my heart into the night, I sensed a gentle embrace enveloping me, a collective energy of souls who resonated with my truth. I realized that every person I encountered had their own tapestry, vibrant and intricate, waiting to be celebrated. In the stillness that followed, I gazed up at the stars, their brilliance echoing the resolve within me. I understood then that our souls yearn for connection, for acceptance, and it is in the sharing of our stories that we cultivate understanding and compassion. With every word spoken, we illuminate the shadows, inviting others to join in the dance of authenticity. As dawn began to crest over the horizon, casting hues of gold and pink across the sky, I felt a weight lift from my heart. The garden brimmed with life, a vision of hope and possibility unfolding before me. No longer a solitary seeker, I was part of a broader narrative, an intricate web binding us all together. Finally, the moment arrived when a powerful truth pierced through my consciousness, a revelation that would resonate within me forever. In embracing our stories, we heal not just ourselves but also weave a richer tapestry for future generations. Our truths are sacred, in them lies the power to forge bridges and nurture understanding across the vast expanses of humanity. With the sun rising, I took a deep breath filled with the promise of a new beginning. My journey was just commencing, and in this commitment to unveiling the intricacies of my soul, I was beckoning others to join me on this magnificent quest. As I turned to leave the garden, the radiant energy surged within me, a gentle reminder that every secret I unmasked would illuminate the path for others to follow. We are all threads woven together in the masterpiece of existence, and by embracing our true selves, we can forever change the narrative. With grace guiding my steps, I whispered one final thought to the dawn, a simple yet profound truth that reverberated through the fabric of the universe. We are the stories we tell, and within us lies the power to inspire the world.